Ukrainian army's kamikaze drones have been shot down near Russian capital Moscow, Russian Telegram channels reported. In the evening, an air defense system was activated in the area where military units are located in the Solnechnogorsk district of Moscow region, and a kamikaze drone was shot down. The Russian Defense Ministry announced that 4 drones had been shot down over the Moscow region in the evening. However, the mayor of the capital, Yuri Sobyanin, said that 6 drones flying towards Moscow had been shot down. Flights were restricted at Sukovsky Airport 4 times during the day. The Russian Defense Ministry announced that a total of 18 Ukrainian kamikaze drones had been shot down over the Moscow region over the past 24 hours. There have been no reports about casualties. The remains of the downed drones damaged cars parked in the area.
In annexed Crimea, cases of damage and destruction of Russian aircraft due to the fault of Russian military personnel are being recorded. The Russian command is hiding such facts and trying to recover millions in damages from its subordinates. Since the beginning of the full-scale invasion of Ukraine, Russia has lost more than 700 units of its aviation, in particular more than 300 aircraft, according to reports from the armed forces of Ukraine. According to Forbes, since 2022, Russia has lost almost 10% of its fleet of Tu-22M strategic missile carriers. Incidents also occur in the Russian rear. In annexed Crimea alone, at least 2 such cases have become known. How many there actually are is unknown, since these cases are not public. As a result, they are not mentioned in military reports, but information still leaks to the media and publics. In May, Russian media reported that a Russian conscript was trying to challenge a court decision to collect 10 million rubles in damages for the destruction of an Su-25 SM-3 attack aircraft in Crimea. The incident occurred at a military airfield in Simferopol on August 7, 2023, but until now, nothing was known about this. Russian serviceman Alexander Ehrlich, during his military service, without the skills or license to drive a vehicle, got behind the wheel of a KAMAZ 5350 military vehicle and was moving at full speed along the road of the military airfield in Simferopol, connecting 2 aircraft parking areas. Having lost control, the serviceman rammed a Su-25 SMZ attack aircraft, which was being towed on a rigid hitch by a Ural APA-5D vehicle. The aircraft was damaged beyond its intended use, reports the Russian Kommersant. The Russian Minister of Defense filed a claim to recover almost 387 million rubles in compensation for the attack aircraft from the serviceman. In the end, the court reduced this amount to 10 million rubles. At the beginning of this year, court proceedings were completed in another case concerning the destruction of Russian aircraft in Crimea with the death of Russian servicemen. The senior assistant of the operational duty officer of the Air Defense Command Post in Crimea, Captain Igor Pashkov, appeared in court. He was accused of accidentally shooting down a Russian Mi-8 helicopter over the Black Sea in October 2023. While preparing to repel a suspected attack by the Ukrainian armed forces, the serviceman opened what turned out to be friendly fire on his own, the case Materials reported. Incidents involving damage to or destruction of Russian military equipment by its own servicemen indicate a degradation in the training of personnel during Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine, according to Ukrainian military analyst Mikhail Zyrokov. Even earlier than Ukraine, the Russians began to form consolidated units from aviation technicians, security companies, and send them to the front. Because the more they fly, the more combat work, the more cases of damage or destruction of aircraft. Because people are mobilized, they do not have sufficient experience for high-quality work with the lethal equipment of the Russian Federation, he told. Russian troops in southern Ukraine are increasingly disappearing without a trace, according to Serhiy Bratchuk, spokesman for the Ukrainian Volunteer Army, according to Armia TV. Ukrainian armed forces liberated the right bank part of the region, including the city of Kherson, in the fall of 2022, while the left bank area, located on the opposite side of the Dnipro River, remains temporarily occupied by Russian troops. He says the phenomenon affects not only the active combat zone on the Kherson Islands, but also the rear areas on the left bank, where occupiers, including looters, are suddenly evaporating. This is no longer the Bermuda Triangle, but the Kherson Triangle. And as we can see, it works. Every day this past week, someone disappears, Bratchuk says with irony. The most recent case has been reported in Russia's 24th Motor Rifle Regiment, when 6 soldiers were declared missing in action. There were no reported clashes, raising suspicions of Ukrainian partisan activity or desertions from demoralized units, according to Euromaidan press media outlet. Perhaps it's the work of partisans. Perhaps they're choosing to disappear on their own. But the fact remains. There are fewer Russians, and that suits us just fine, the Ukrainian spokesperson sums up. Earlier, the pro-Ukrainian partisan group Atesh reported that several Russian National Guard soldiers reportedly involved in looting mysteriously disappeared under unclear circumstances in the Russian-occupied city of Nova Kakhovka in Kherson Oblast. The group added that the Russian occupiers are confident in their impunity, using the checkpoints as a means to rob the local population. However, things are not always going according to their plan. According to the partisans, the soldiers, who had gained notoriety for stealing from residents in Nova Kakhovka, mysteriously vanished last month. Their disappearance has raised concerns among the entire Russian leadership in Nova Kakhovka, and this is just the beginning. Atesh claims Russian soldiers stationed at these checkpoints are regularly looting, taking personal items from local civilians, including phones, food and household appliances, Atesh reports. The group added that the Russian occupiers are confident in their impunity, using the checkpoints as a means to rob the local population. Since the 24th of February 2022, Nova Kakhovka has been under Russian occupation, with Russian forces using the city as a rear base and logistics center. Ukrainian armed forces liberated the right bank part of the region, including the city of Kherson, in the fall of 2022, while the left bank area, located on the opposite side of the Dnipro River, remained temporarily occupied by Russian troops.